He never shouted at her. He never cheated. He never disrespected her. But he was never really there. And that's the part no one really talks about. Sometimes what hurts the most isn't what was done. It's what was never there to begin with. She met him at a point in her life where she no longer had the patience for games. He was stable, polite, predictable. There was no intensity, but there was no pain either. At first, that felt like peace. They went out for dinner, talked about their day, shared a routine. Everything looked normal. But over time, something started to feel off. She would speak, and he would respond. But he wouldn't connect. She would open up, and he would listen. But he wouldn't go any deeper. She would feel, and he would remain neutral. And slowly, she began to feel alone. Even when she wasn't. There were no arguments. No drama. Just a quiet emptiness, hard to explain. Because how do you complain about someone who does nothing wrong? There is a kind of absence that isn't physical. It's emotional. It's when someone is right there, but they don't really see you. They don't feel with you. They don't step into your world. And that triggers one of the deepest human wounds, the feeling of not being emotionally chosen. Many women stay in this kind of relationship because, at least he doesn't hurt me. But emotional absence hurts too. Just in a quieter way. A slower way. A harder way to name. And often, a more dangerous one, because you start questioning yourself. Am I asking for too much? Is something wrong with me? Until one day, she realized she wasn't sad because of him. She was sad because of how she felt when she was with him. Invisible. Unchosen. Alone inside a relationship. And that isn't love. And for the first time, instead of staying quiet, she spoke. Not with blame. Not with anger. She said something simple. I don't feel lonely when I'm alone. I feel lonely when I'm with you. He went quiet. Not because he didn't care, but because he had never learned how to be emotionally present with someone. In his mind, he was doing everything right. He was there. He was loyal. He was stable. But he had never been taught how to truly connect. And in that moment, something shifted. Not magically. Not overnight. But a conversation opened that had never existed before. They started slowly. Small moments of real presence. Deeper questions. Less empty silence. More attentive eyes. And she started therapy. Because she realized something important. She wasn't there just because of him. She was there because, on some level, she had learned to accept less. To adapt to emotional minimums. And that needed to change too. But not every story ends in reconnect ion. And here is the truth most people avoid. Relationships only change when both people are willing to grow. Some men wake up. Others don't. And in both cases, the most important decision remains the same. Do you choose yourself, or do you keep abandoning yourself? She chose not to abandon herself anymore. And for the first time, she stopped measuring the relationship by what he didn't do wrong and started measuring it by what she actually felt. Because in the end, it's not just about not being hurt. It's about being seen, felt, met in a real connection. And that changes everything. If this story stayed with you, it might not be a coincidence. It might be awareness. And awareness is always the beginning of a new choice.